Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another night of NGS action. We are in week number 3 right now, and tonight we have a matchup coming to you from Division B West. We've got the Randy Newmans. Yes, I did dare to take that on, going up against the arrogant Nephalem. This is going to be a pretty evenly matched, at least in the standings so far. Looking at these two teams, it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game going between these two teams. Both of these teams having already played a couple matches in their season so far, both sitting at 6 points apiece right now. Both teams having 2 dominations. However, Randy Newman, they have played 4 matches so far. They are sitting on a 2-2 record, while Arrogant Nephalem, they are sitting right now on a 2-0 record with 2 dominations. So we'll see if Randy Newmans are going to be the ones that give Arrogant Nephalem their first loss, or if Arrogant Nephalem are going to continue their streak and sky themselves up the standings, looking to get a much better seeding in the rankings. My name is Isaacs. Welcome to all of those who are joining me tonight. I am super excited to get back to casting again. I did not get as much in last week, but I have a lot looking like it's going to be on the docket this week. So it's going to be a rather busy week. Had some family come into town last week, so didn't get to cast as much as I wanted to, but we are back and we are ready to go. The teams are finally finishing up trickling into the lobby. We are getting started just a smidge early, so we will have a little bit of time to get these teams ready to go. Let me get you guys over to the maps so you can kind of see how this transpired going into this series. So Randy Newman, they are the home team, so they got to call the coin toss. They won the coin toss, and they elected to go for map pick rather than first hero pick. It's been an interesting change that I have seen since the Zagara nerfs. A lot of teams suddenly have shifted away from the first pick priority to the map pick priority, which I find really interesting. It was just one champion. Now, Zagara was very strong and almost a permanent ban in the NGS standings. So, if you were going with first pick, you were banking on getting the magical combo, not banning out letting the opposing team ban you out, and either getting Zagara, Vala, or Brightwing. Vala has started to fall off a little bit. Brightwing is still fairly good, but can get abused on some smaller maps. And Zagara just got nerfed into the ground. So a lot of teams are being like, well, all those strong picks have kind of just gone by the wayside. Maybe now we want to start favoring maps that we're comfortable on again. So Randy Newman elected to get for our map, and they are the ones who also get to start the bans. They banned off Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. Arrogant Nephalem responded by banning Alteric Pass and Cursed Hollow, and that means that we are going to go to Battlefield of Eternity first, picked up by the Newmans. They're going to send us over to BOE, one of my favorite maps to cast. It is one of my favorite maps to play. I don't know, just everything about BOE I personally love. This is one of my favorite maps that have ever been created by Blizzard since, the start of this game, playing way back in Alpha. When they added BOE, at first was like, this map's kind of cool. And the more I just played it, the more I watched it in HCG, the more I really fell in love with this map, just because of the amount of strategy that teams can bring to the drafting phase of this map. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what these two teams bring out. I haven't done, I'm not the researcher for my team. I actually play in Division B West as well, but I'm not the researcher, so I don't know a lot of the scouting for these two teams. Trying to pull it up while we have a few minutes. It looks like everybody is in the lobby, so I just want to let them know that I am ready whenever we're ready to go. By the way, Haas, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate the follow. Before the stream was even started, drop the follow in there. And looks like we're just getting some captains reassigned, and then we should be ready to go. But, looking at a map like Battlefield of Eternity, trying to figure out what the different teams prioritize. Teams can prioritize the race, and then we see the bans being focused on like the Artanis, the Rainer, the Greymane, or the priority being picked on those three. Vala can be picked up in that rotation for the race component as well, so maybe drawing her ban herself, or teams can go elect for like the more team fight, where you start seeing like the tank and the healer pool getting focused more in the ban. So looking at champions like Mei, champions like Diva, champions like Varian and Anubarak, who can crowd control different teams in the stun of the Immortal itself when you're looking for a defend. And then, there's always the potential of bringing out a mage, but you need to bring a high burn mage unless you're going for the team fight. So champions like Lunara, champions like Li Ming start to show up a little bit more favorably on a map like Battlefield of Eternity. Or you could just scrap all I said before and decide to go for this like really weird, cheesy siege comp where you go like a Sylvanas Sergeant Hammer. I've seen it done and done efficiently on a map like Battlefield Eternity where you like bait the other team, say, go ahead and go for the Immortal. While you do that, we're going to take a tower. And then, just trade an Immortal for a tower and then set up for your defense. And then an Immortal for a tower and set up for defense. Usually takes a lot more communication for those kind of comps to come online, but we'll see where the focus goes. But we see a race focus already being banned out. Artanis banned out by Arrogant Nephalem here. So we'll see if Randy Newman decides to respond with some race bans of their own, or if they're going to focus more on the AoE. Nazebo getting banned out here. He did get a little bit of a buff to his Spider Quest at level 1 recently, so he is being prioritized just a little bit more. I haven't gotten on the Nazebo hype train yet. I think he's better. I still don't think he's great because he still relies on getting to the late game. And a game like Heroes, especially on a map like Battlefield of Eternity, a 2-lane map, if you can get your advantage early, you can definitely just get Nazebo out of the equation and scale yourself, to snowball yourself to victory. Vala going to be picked up by an Arrogant Nephalem, or banned by Arrogant Nephalem as well. So 2 race champions banned out. Raynor and Greymane still available. So we'll see if they ban out 2 and pick one for themselves. And we'll see what Randy Newman decide to ban. Are they going to get rid of the Brightwing here? Or are they going to do more of a target ban? They're going to get rid of the Sylvanas. Don't want to see the siege potential coming in with that Immortal. And that leaves Brightwing available for the side of Arrogant Nephalem. It also leaves Anduin available for the side of Arrogant Nephalem. 2 very strong healers. Looking at the tank pool, Mei is available. Diva is available, and the Bruiser, who does very well on a map, being able to zone everybody off. But Stitches is going to be the one that is picked up here. Has gotten a few nerfs recently. Doesn't have the sustain in his kit like he used to. And Greymane immediately picked up by Tuna Breath. Uther by Wandy Wooman. I told you, I was glutton for punishment picking up the Newmans. When you look at the names, it's going to be fun. But Wandy Wooman gonna pick up the Uther here, so we're looking like an Uther potentially could be a D shield Uther, or it could be a D Storm, just committing to the dive with Greymane and stunning everybody up, letting him gobble this entire front line. But with the Stitches, it's almost certainly going to be a Curse Bullet Greymane coming out, and they need some anti-healing as well. Hanzo, safe poke coming in from Arrogant Nephalem, and Gazlo by Null Pointer going to be picked up in the off lane. So Hanzo, a good response to Greymane, a champion who likes to dive in. Hanzo can just jump himself over a wall and continue to poke away from safety. You need a lot of hard lockdown, and it's got to be quick lockdown. So Uther has to either flank himself, or he has to get some assistance in getting himself forward, looking for other champions that can either get in and lock themselves down, lock the Hanzo down while Uther runs there, or looking like a Garrosh for a throw into the team. Anduin's going to get banned out by the side of Randy Newman here. Not going to see the light bomb on the Stitches after he gorges and brings the foe back to his team. And the Arrogant Nephalem, I'm looking for a frontline ban here. Looking for like the Mei potentially getting banned. Anything with a lot of dive potential. There it is, Diablo. Diablo having a lot of dive and lockdown potential. Going to be able to delay, get Hanzo into a wall, flip him over, and wait for Uther to kind of get up in there. So good smart ban coming in from Arrogant Nephalem. Don't want to see the Lord of Terror here. There still are a lot of good dive options. We're talking about the Mei quite a bit. I still think the Mei is a very good option here. Can use the snowball from distance to blind the Hanzo in addition to get in on these targets. Nubarak could be okay with the Stitches Gorge as a potential, but they're going to hold off unless that looks like it's a double support now with the Tyrande, so it's going to be an Uther main tank. So we're going to see more damage, and Sonya being picked up by Nandy Ruman. Going to be in that offlane against the Gazlo. Kind of a skill matchup here between these two. Gazlo will have a little bit of abuse with the turrets, but Sonya does have the sustain, so we'll see which one ends up winning. Usually I give the nod a little bit more to the sustainy champs, but Gazlo, if he can land his Ws, has sustain for himself. And it's the Kidnap comp coming online with the Medivh and Stukov to finish it off. So this just turned into a full Kidnap composition. Interesting they're pairing it with the Hanzo. Not necessarily the big burst damage you're looking for to pair with the Kidnap comp. Looking for more like the Greymane, the Jaina, things like that. And it's going to be Johanna picked up by Randy Newman here. Going to go with a triple frontline kind of composition, hyper carry Greymane as that solo carry, and use Tyrande to kind of increase Greymane's damage on that single target. So the Kidnap composition gonna be effective, but they're gonna have to be able to blow up the target before Uther can get in and throw his Divine Shield on that target. So it's gonna be a little bit of communication between the Medivh and the Stitches to be able to pull that off successfully. They do have the Gazlo for the counter, engage if they try to, chase after the engorged champion there. Gazlo can throw down the grab bomb to kind of push everybody off. But I also, looking at this composition, if they're going this huge pick composition, I don't know if Gazlo's necessarily going to go grab bomb because they already have their isolation, pick out their target and kill. They don't really have the biggest combo unless they do Dragon Arrow, grab bomb, and they don't have a ton of damage to put down onto it. So I'm almost curious if Gazlo's going to go Robo Goblin and look to really punish that off lane. I'll be curious to see where Gazlo goes with this at 10, but let's see what these teams could do. Get these teams introduced. On the blue side, we have the Randy Newmans. We have Randy Newman on the Tyrande. We have Randy Newman on the Johanna. We got Wandy Wooman on the Uther, Tuna Breath on the Greymane, and up in the top lane, we got Nandy Ruman on that Sonya. Meanwhile, on the red side, we've got the Arrogant Nephalem. We've got Sarius on that Stukov. We got Sagati on the, I believe it is, I can't zoom all the way in there. Antaeus on the Stitches. Sagati is sitting on the Hanzo. We've got Null Pointer on the Gazlo, and I don't know who the Medivh player is just because he is, flying around in the air right now. We'll see when he gets down. Weenus coming in with a raid of 11. Welcome, Weenus. Thank you for the 69 bits. Hope you had a good stream. It looked like it was a lot of fun over on that stream between you and Skycake. We are getting into game number 1, folks. We have just started 24 seconds into this series between two Division B heavyweights, the Randy Newmans going up against the Arrogant Nephalem. And we see this kind of interesting composition coming online. This Kidnap composition coming in from the Arrogant Nephalem. A little bit of a delay from the Stukov. Didn't quite get the Silence Puddle, and down so Uther walks himself away. And looking at these sounds, big thing to note, Johanna went for the stacking quest. Or sorry, the reverse quest. So the Divine Fortress, she gets all that extra health. Going to be a much, much more difficult tank to burn through in the early game, but the more she dies, the less tanky she gets. And she gets that little bit of blocking from the Hanzo. Now, Hanzo did go for the auto attack build, so it's going to be a little bit more advantageous than if he went for like the W or Q build, where the block isn't necessarily as good a pick. But a good stun coming in from the Uther. Nice protect from the Medivh. Medivh, just one of those annoying characters. You're like, I've got this champion, and Medivh says no. Puts the protect down and pretty much nullifies any damage being thrown down there. And a good counter engage. All the Newmans sitting fairly low with Tuna Breath and company. We got Uther actually going all the way back low on many resources here. And Sonya was trying to get this top camp, elected better of it, and now going to go up against the Gazlo in the lane. And the more this lane progresses, the more curious I am on how Gazlo is going to play this one out. I'm still really curious if he's going to go the Robo Goblin or not. But Stitch is going to go for that Eternal stacking quest on the E, looking for those globes. And Medivh sitting currently at 15 stacks. Tyrande missing the stun onto the Stitches, onto the Hanzo there, but a big hook by the Stitches onto Tuna Breath on the Greymane, and that will be first blood going over to the side of Arrogant Nephalem. Nice pick by the Stitches there, and that's the thing with a Stitches comp. He's gonna land a couple in the game, so you gotta kind of just accept that you're gonna get hooked and play around it as best you can. But we already see Wanda Wooman and Randy Newman picking up the siege camp on the blue side. Nobody responding for red side yet. We do see Stukov and Hanzo going ahead and heading up there. Medivh and Stitch is going to hang down and get this siege camp pushing. Gazlo actually getting his lane pushed out, going to rotate over and help with this camp. They should have it on an okay timer here. Randy Newman's have it on a much better timer. Usually 245 is where you want to see it picked up, so just a little delayed, but still a better timer than their opposing, their counterparts on the red side. And we see Greymane rotating down, gonna get a big clear in the bot lane, see if they can get the lane pushing. We already see the Arrogant Nephalem committing all the way to this fight. Tyrande actually getting hooked in by the Stitches there. Big silence coming out. And Sonya getting the camp in the top lane, committing to the push in the off lane. Nobody has committed bot lane. We do see Gazlo rotating himself down there. Hanzo continuing to put damage on the Immortal, winning the Immortal fight so far. And now we see Greymane Tyrande going up and going against that contestation. And they do have the better race on the side of the Randy Newmans. They do have the Tyrande and the Greymane there, but they need to have some people commit to the defense. Hanzo actually getting stunned out by the Immortal there. Blinding Flare being thrown out. Unfortunately, the Immortal was already done, and we see the Randy Newmans doing the 4-1 here. Greymane's going to solo burn while the rest go ahead and commit to the defense. They still have minions pushing the top lane, so this is a big play by the Randy Newmans right now. If they could just continue to stay back, Johanna is the one. If you're going to want to get it pulled, can just pop the Iron Skin and get herself to safety. And already these Immortals down to about half health apiece. Sonya trying to spin herself back to full health here and jumping all the way into the backline, trying to spin around. Doesn't have the level 7 talent available yet, but it's continuing to put down the siege. Greymane winning this siege battle. Johanna and Sonya just trying to be that big disruptive force for the entire backline, and everybody on the side of Arrogant Nephalem just sitting together. So Sonya getting a lot of value here. Medivh did finish off his quest, but Greymane won the war. And the rest of the Randy Newman, Sonya did get hooked there, so one does fall on the blue side. But pretty good pickup by Randy Newmans there. Played that very well, showing some veteran experience there, and end up getting this first Immortal. Gonna be about a quarter shield Immortal. Gonna push in this bot lane and get a little bit of value. Hopefully, you know, for the side of Arrogant Nephalem, it's hopefully just a front wall for Randy Newmans. They're looking to get the wall and more. And this Immortal, the longer it can stay healthy with this Johanna using the blinding flares on the Hanzo, the better it's going to be. They should be able to get this health fountain and maybe a little bit of fort damage. We'll see if they get in deep. Gazlo is rotating himself in, so it is a 5v4. Gazlo throws down the stun, but it does not connect. The stun actually does land on the Gazlo. Johanna gets pulled in, uses the Iron Skin to get herself away. That's about half the fort that did fall to the Protector, so pretty good if you're a fan of the Randy Newmans. Getting pretty good value there, and Sonya getting some soak up in the top lane, trying to keep this experience even as she can. It's only a slight experience lead for the side of Arrogant Nephalem so far. Stitch is missing the hook there. And the rest of the Randy Newmans just looking to control the siege camp here in the bot lane. See what they can find. Medivh, actually a big engage coming in here. Uther lands it onto the Hanzo, the big stun. Stitches is just right on the point, and he can tank this for a while. Already sitting on 9 stacks. Johanna trying to try and match it. She does not have Iron Skin available, had to pop it earlier, and so that is going to be first kill going over to the side of Arrogant Nephalem, and the rest of the Randy Newman's just going to jump off, but Medivh says, nah, not so fast. Using the portals to just boost his entire team up to the front. And Medivh, being the trickster that he is, just so difficult to run away from a Medivh. He could just get right back up into your backline. So 2 good pickups there by the side of Arrogant Nephalem. Sonya trying to get the camp, get some value on the other side of the map, but Gazlo's sniffing this one out. Gonna put the turrets down and try and contest this. Meanwhile, he pushes the minions in, so he is able to deny the experience from the Sonya. Sonya just continuing to spin to win. Can she keep? Nope, Gazlo gets on, so it's going to be a fight over the point. Nobody's rotating up, so it's just going to be a straight brawl, and Sonya is going to win that one. Gazlo backs himself off. 10s are online. Gazlo did go for the grab bomb here. Stukov going for the flailing swipe. Stitches gets the gorge, as expected with the kidnap. I anticipate a ley line from the Medivh. There it is, and the Hanzo, probably the Dragon Strike. Sorry, the Dragon Arrow, not the Dragon Strike. Maybe the Dragon Strike if he wants to combo it with the ley line. But 10's not quite online for the Newmans here. They're waiting for their 10s to come online before they go and contest. So this halftime show is definitely going to go in favor of Arrogant Nephalem. We'll see if the Newmans are able to get up there. Hanzo did go for the Dragon Strike. So looking to pair it with the ley line. Maybe the grab bomb as well. And the Newmans now getting their 10s. D-shield by the Uther. Blessed shield by the Johanna. Curse bullet by Greymane. Leap by Sonya. And it is going to be that Starfall from the Tyrande. And they are not wasting any time. Find the target. Stukov goes down. Leyline thrown out. isn't going to be able to get any value. And now the entire side of the Newmans are here. Dragon Strike thrown out by the Hanzo gets some value there. Sonya is getting kidnapped. She gets her leap over the wall. Will she get the heal? She gets the D shield, so she's able to get herself away and spinning back to win. The Stitches gets the pull. The grab bomb goes down, is going to catch the Tyrande, but the W does miss. Sonya goes down, and so far it is a 1-for-1 trade, but Stukov is back online, so the Newmans have to run. Tyrande getting stunned by the Immortal there, sitting at 50 health. Medivh all the way in the back using those sneaky portals is like, guys, up here, let's go. And now they are on the hunt, trying to get as many kills. We got Stitches chasing the Greymane. Meanwhile, everybody else after the Johanna here in the bot lane. And that is going to be 2 kills going over to Arrogant Nephalem, 4-1. They will win the Immortal second fight. And Gazlo gonna go up and make sure that that siege camp didn't get any more value up in the top lane. And this Immortal gonna go ahead and siege the top lane. So Sonya immediately responded to the bot lane. Gonna see if she can maybe get this fort, trade a fort here 1-for-1. The rest of the Newmans gonna go up into the top lane. They don't have the best clear for the Immortal, but they do have the blinds, which will help. The Blessed Shield actually thrown out. They're committing all the way to this Greymane. A good protect coming in for the Medivh. Portal was interesting. Maybe he thought Hanzo wasn't going to leap over the wall and just run back to the team using the portal to escape. But the Punisher already losing a bunch of its shield. Greymane is getting pulled in there, has to back himself away, doesn't get gorged by the Stitches. Instead, it's going to be the Johanna, which actually Johanna's like, I'm okay with this because I have Iron Skin, can just walk herself all the way out, going to walk herself up to the top, but the rest of the team coming in, going to abandon the Immortal, but the ley line comes out. Randy Newman going to fall, and then we get the follow-up. So the Immortal does get the fort and continuing to go back. Greymane's going to clear all that up, but we're going to watch this Stitches, see if he can get a second hook here. Looking for it. Looks for the Tyrande. Doesn't connect it. Barely missed. Maybe caught a whiff of her hair, but that's all that it did. But still, good push by the side of Arrogant Nephalem. 7-1 in kills. Up level 13 talent tiers, looking to press their advantage. Sonya going to be trying to get this fort back in the bot, and the side of Randy Newman just looking to get back on that even talent tier. And then, you know, live to fight another day. But the Randy Newman, I mean, they're showing a lot of promise in a lot of fight, making some good aggressive calls when they get on that even talent tier, trying to find a way to close this experience gap. It's just going to take the one. If they found Stukov in that one fight, looking for the Hanzo and the Stukov again, but it's got to be tricky with this Medivh. You really got to get that focus fire either immediately or save all your massive bursts, stun one, bait out the protect, and then re-engage when the protect is on cooldown. Gazlo finishing off the camp. Going to be able to pick this up. Gets a lot of pressure going in the top lane, so Sonya's going to have to go answer all that. The rest of the Arrogant Nephalem, actually Gazlo is rotating down, doesn't get scouted out by the Owl. So we have a 5-man siege here in the bot lane, looking for a play. All ultimates are online, so it can start with just as simple as a ley line, and then have the rest of the team collapse on top of it. Hanzo continuing to try and get the poke there. Johanna sitting a little bit far out, gonna back herself up. And now with the camp online, Medivh gonna scout it out. The Newmans go, they're on even talent tier now, but they don't have the Sonya. Sonya kind of deciding if she wants to get down here or finish clearing off this camp. All she needs to do is clear these two, and that minion will get focused down by the tower. The Dragon Strike goes down, trying to zone everybody off. Doesn't get a lot of damage, but it keeps the side of the Newmans from getting the camp. And now the rest of the Nephalem back off and go start the burn again. Immediately, they're right on top of this thing when the burn starts. Johanna actually getting the hook there. And this siege minion still continuing to put pressure up in this top lane. So it's halftime show here. It looked like there was a minion that was spawned just in the nick of time. And so it didn't focus the actual siege minion. The bruiser minion summoned his little hellions. Big Blessed Shield coming out here, though. Engage on the Stukov. The Protect goes down. The Grab Bomb does not connect with anybody. And we do have Stitches in the backline with the Greymane. The portal is available, but Stitches getting crowd controls. There goes the ley line. But Greymane actually did not get transported all the way. And so now the Engage is back on. Medivh is in the front. Does not have the portal to get out, but a big Dragon Strike makes sure that Sonya falls. The bait is real. Medivh does fall. It's a trade 2-for-1 so far. Starfall going down as a disengage. The hook does miss, but the fort did fall in the bot lane, so the Newmans get some sort of macro play there. get the fort to fall with the bruiser camp that they picked up. Not going to contest this. This is going to be a very healthy immortal for the Nephalem. They're just going to go and try and reduce the shield as much as they can. And that's all they're going to get, about 2,000 damage off the shield. But it is going to go in the bot lane, and the lane is pushed out very far. So it is just going to be the immortal. Sonya will be able to rotate down. Johanna will be able to as well. So this will probably be bot fort. And then depending on how these teams fight it out, we'll see if it's more. Stitches and Stukov looking like they're laying in wait, looking for some sort of play here. The Newman's sniffing out. See the Stitches rotating up, but realistically don't have a ton of damage to burn through the Stitches right now. It's got to be a squishier target. And actually, Uther getting caught here. The kidnap comp is real. Uther's going for a ride into the wrong zip code and gonna fall in this backline. Just trying to, you know, take everybody for an adventure here and let the rest of the team burn this immortal. And they actually got the whole shield here. So even though Uther got kidnapped, the immortal did get fairly low. Now Nandy Ruman in a little bit of danger. Gets hooked in by the Stitches, has the leap available, does not pull it. Instead gets the ley line mid-spin, now has the leap, but in the middle. Gets rooted out by the Stukov on, that was like a tiptoe. She barely was in that puddle, looked like she was out of it, but gets the root. And so that is 2 kills going over to the arrogant Nephalem here. Up 11-2 in kills, able to get the fort, not going to be able to get the keep, however. And the top lane pushed pretty far, so far it's 2 forts to 1 on the map, but 17 advantage, 16 advantage for the side of arrogant Nephalem. And the Newmans, they're looking for that one fight. One fight where they can get the Blessed Shield, Leap, and Greymane jumping in on a squishy target, preferably Medivh, so he can get comboed down very quickly and not use that Protect to keep everybody alive. But that's got to be the play. Get everybody grouped together, find some sneaky route to get onto this Medivh, and use your entire crowd control chain, which there's a lot of it. Tyrande, Sonya, and Johanna all have hard CC, and get on this Medivh. Big hook coming in from Stitches. The kidnap comp coming online. Sonya going for a ride. She does have the leap available. Medivh is down, but Sonya not able to leap on top of it. Decides to hold it, and that will be Sonya going down. And the rest of the side of Randy Newman gonna try and defend this keep down a player. Johanna does have the blinds, does have the Blessed Shield, so as long as they can get somebody to pull tower aggro, they can try and get a burn. Nobody pulling tower aggro, they're just letting the siege go, and this will be the keep going down. The rest of the Newman's gonna go into the bot lane and try and get some of this minion pressure cleared. Wait for Sonya to come out and look to pull that combo one more time. And again, this would be a great time to do it. If they can pull the combo here, they will be able to pick up a full health immortal and march it in the top lane and get some pretty good value. So we'll see if they can find some fight over this immortal. Don't really need to worry about that minion wave too terribly much right now. Have the siege minion. But Sonya is clearing it out. They're looking for the Sonya. There's the Hanzo. The shield is thrown, and there goes the leap. Hanzo's getting blown up, but does not fall. Oh, he does. Tyrande gets that last shot off. So there you go. Gets the full combo down onto the Hanzo. It looked hairy for a second, but Tyrande was able to get that last shot in, and they get the kill. And that's a big pickup for the Newmans here. Now they got to set up their siege. They got to make sure they don't get hooked by the Stitches, and they are going to have to send Sonya back to deal with this. The siege minion did get cleared. There was a siege minion on the side of the Nephalem. So they can just back off here. It was a big pickup for the Newmans. They delayed. And now they can go clear the top lane, probably give up this halftime show, and look to rock that combo again in another 20 seconds here. They still have 22 seconds with Hanzo not online. So they got plenty of time. Looks like they're not quite ready to give up the halftime show, so they didn't go clear these minions in the top lane. And now they're going back to the siege. And Greymane is one of those great siege champions with a Tyrande. Gonna be able to win the halftime show. As long as nobody gets the kidnap comp is still available, so they gotta be careful. Sonya jumping all the way in, nobody else getting the call here. And Sonya does not have the leap available, so gonna have to take everybody on a ride. The ley line, Dragon Strike, not anti-synergy. Oh, unfortunate there. That's the combo they've been trying to land, but unfortunately both threw it out at the same time. So Sonya does go down. That is a big pickup for the side of the arrogant Nephalem. Greymane gonna try and continue this burn, see if he can get this immortal as low as he can to set up for the defense. And the rest of the team actually committing to this as well. So it is a 5v4. The ley line is not available, but the portal is. The rest of the team is going to get up here. Stitches trying to get the hook, does not connect. Greymane on the run, gets away with 100. Oh, the Hanzo. Simple geometry indeed. Hanzo able to pick up the kill, and that is going to be 2 more kills. Stukov with that root at 13 is able to lock Uther down. And this is going to be a big push in the bot lane by the side of the Arrogant Nephalem. Actually going to go back and going to go get the Immortal. So that is actually, I think that's going to be good for the Newmans. If they'd picked up this keep and just sent one back to clear the Immortal, I think they could have won with the Immortal. But since they all went back and this keep is staying fairly healthy, it is going to go to the bot lane. Everybody on the Newmans will be available, so they may be able to defend this. It is level 20 for the side of Arrogant Nephalem here. So they may be able to just use that 20 advantage to get the fight. Medivh going for that redirect on the cheats. Getting extra cheating power out of the mage there. The hook does land on Johanna, immediately pops the iron skin, does not want to get gorged there. Gazlo going with these bombs. These bombs are going to be nasty with the bomb toss. Dragon Strike going out just to clear up the rest of the minions and zone everybody off. And here comes the Immortal. There goes the ley line, the redirect. Does not connect, doesn't redirect it there with the 20 there. Sonya's going to jump in, and we've got a counter engage coming in. Stitch is getting very low. The Curse Bullet was huge, and that is a pickup on the Stitches. That is a good kill now if they can get back on this Immortal. Greymane's already back there. Sonya is going to continue to try and press her advantage, see if she can find a kill. Going to just spin in the middle of the team and see if she can find the Stukov while the core is being defended by the rest of the team. I do believe they have a good core defense here. Johanna going to take care of the minions in the top. Greymane's going to try and get this Immortal here. Hanzo is available to provide some core damage. Stun going down onto the Gazlo. Another follow-up stun. The core is at 17%. Hanzo trying to get the shot. Lands one. 10% core. And everybody just pushing past. The run is on. Stukov just needs to go slap it. Gets one slap away. Gazlo now running in. The Dragon Strike isn't going to get any core damage, but Medivh going to hit it. Gazlo as well. Stukov there, and that will be the core going down. GG's coming out. Arrogant Nephalem taking the game 1 victory here. And continuing their undefeated season so far. Pretty good stats, coming out. Arrogant Nephalem seemed very, very comfortable with that kidnap composition there. Like to run it. Good map to run it on. That 2-lane map has a lot more opportunity. And with the Immortal, you kind of have to fight over the Immortal. You can't just give it up. And so they were able to defend it fairly well. Ultimately being able to get a couple of those picks onto the Sonya, getting her with the Stukov silence so she couldn't leap away. Got a couple picks onto the Johanna as well. Johanna a little bit better time escaping, but still got, burned down a couple of the times. But man, you could see the burst potential that we saw that the Randy Newmans were looking for all game if the stinking Medivh wasn't there, because, that Stitches in that last fight went from full health, and that was a pretty stacked up Stitches. I don't know what his final globe count was, but man, that Stitches just melted with the Greymane, Tyrande, and Uther just all focusing right on top of it, using the Curse Bullet and just the damage coming out. So you can see that their single target, I want to kill this person, just with Medivh being able to throw down that protect. It's like, it's just a huge counter button to that kind of a composition there. So if they want to run this again, or something similar, the Medivh is going to have to be a potential ban coming out from the Newmans. Meanwhile, on the side of the Nephalem, 62k damage coming out of the Medivh. Medivh cheating in all aspects of the game, taking the most hero damage and doing well with it. Got that quest done pretty quickly to get those 40 stacks, get that extra damage. Looking at, tanking stats or healing stats, Stukov out healing Tyrande as expected. Tyrande not necessarily known for a lot of healing, but has pretty good single target healing, but provides more utility with the diving, the damage kind of composition that we're looking for there. Throwing it over to the talent screen real quick. Satan Saves coming in with a party of 7. Welcome all those coming over. Hope you had a good stream over on that channel. Welcome, everyone. We are just wrapping up game number 1 And as much as the score looks one-sided, it was a pretty back and forth game. Arrogant Nephalem definitely found their rhythm later in the game and were able to utilize this kidnap comp once the 10s came online. But for the first half of the game, it was very, very back and forth. Nobody really dying in the first 10 levels. And then Arrogant Nephalem ended up figuring out ways to get this to continue to snowball in their direction. I'm going to leave it up on that talent screen for a few seconds longer. Did get the invite to map number 2. So let me get that updated for you all. And throw it back over to the map overview. And it is going to be Infernal Shrines where we're going to go. And it was picked by the side of Randy Newman. So they had the option between first hero pick, or first map pick, electing to go with a map pick yet again. So that was Battlefield of Eternity was the map pick by the side of Randy Newman. Now they're going to send us over to Infernal Shrines. Switching from a 2-lane map to a 3-lane map. Maybe can use that Sonya if they're putting more priority on that Sonya again to get some double soaking pressure between the top and the mid lane while they use their 4-man if they want to run that, heavy invade, blow them up kind of composition to control those 3 siege camps in the bot lane and really look to be like the camp invading kind of composition. But I don't anticipate the kidnap comp being the focus again out of the side of Arrogant Nephalem. Infernal Shrines, not as good a map to run it on. It just has a little bit more of a difficult time landing his hooks on this map. And minions just get in the way all over the place. Medivh could definitely be played again, given that vision, giving the team that utility. But I don't anticipate it being paired with the Stitches. The Johanna getting a lot of value again on a map like Infernal Shrine. Looking for those tanks that provide a lot of AoE damage in addition to the crowd control. So Johanna, Mei, Diablo yet again can be brought out. Was banned in game number 1 by the Nephalem. See if it gets through here in game number 2. Those 3 tanks providing a lot of value. Offlaners, again, looking at Sonya, this is probably one of her best maps. The Diva being able to come in and just provide a lot of zoning utility around the minions. Gazlo could be brought out again as well, so we could see the same bruiser matchup from these 2 teams. And now Ektar coming in with it is Raid Central over on this channel. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much, Ektar, for the raid. Hope the stream went well. And thank you everybody for coming on over. Thank you, Jakey, for the follow. We are getting ready for game number 2 here between the side of Arrogant Nephalem and Randy Newman. Playing on Battlefield of Eternity, Randy Newman ran this blow up, double support, hyper carry gray main composition, but the Arrogant Nephalem pulled out a kidnap comp and brought out the Medivh flex, being able to put the protect on whatever target was being focused from that blow up, basically negating that entire blow up composition. And then able to use the kidnap comp to kind of just counter engage and slowly build up the kills in their favor, eventually just winning through macro pressure, getting the Immortal time and time again. They won pretty much every Immortal post 10. So Arrogant Nephalem using that kidnap comp very well, playing a very good Medivh. I anticipate that may be a ban we see coming out here, but that does leave other champions open. So, looking at the last thing, the assassin pools that could come out from these 2 players. We already talked about tanks and offlaners. In a map like this, heavy AoEs always favor. So Gul'dan, Jaina from the mage pools are definitely favorites that we see on Infernal Shrines. Auto attackers, anything that has a lot of utility with zoning potential. So looking at Vala, looking at Raynor, looking at like a Cassia, if you're going to go that all-in composition. Wouldn't anticipate see Greymane as much on this map, but could be done. But again, we see the same first 2 bans coming out. Vala and Nazeebo banned out by either side here. Randy Newmans just don't want to see any of that Nazeebo play. Second ban available for the side of Arrogant Nephalem. Will they go again? I'm trying to remember what they banned in game number 2. Or for their second ban, sorry. It wasn't Hogger. So different ban coming in from Arrogant Nephalem here. And we'll see if it's going to be that Medivh as the second ban, or if they're going to be like, we're okay with that. And it's going to be the Stukov instead, respecting the silence pool that came out with the kidnap comp. The Anduin is still available. And that was banned in game number 1, not banned here in game number 2, but Brightwing is also available here. May is available, Diva is available, but it's going to be the Stitches again. Doesn't get as much value on this map, but Antaeus did land quite a bit of those hooks, so if he can continue to land those hooks in game number 2 as he did in game number 1, going to be a little more difficult around the objective with all the minions, but is going to be able to use it. And here we go. Randy Newman picking up Johanna and Tuna Breath, or sorry, Randy Newman picking up the Anduin and Tuna Breath picking up the Johanna. So different Johanna player here. Ektar, it was a very fun series to cast, very action-packed back and forth. I'm guessing that, was that the Storm League matchup that we got? A lot of fun going on over there. But, oh, it's going to be Sonya Tychus here. So a switch. Kaim was the Medivh player, so Medivh's still a possibility, but it's going to be Tychus instead, going for that shred, that frontline shred. And Sonya is going to be stolen away by the arrogant Nephalem here. So Sonya was played by Tuna Breath. No, Tuna Breath played the Greymane. It was played by, oh gosh, one of the Randys, I think. Or maybe it was Wandy. Wandy Wooman, I believe, played the Sonya. And now it's going to be the Medivh ban. Don't want to see it happen. Kidnap comp is pretty much Division A, okay. Pretty much nullified the kidnap comp. But taking away the Anduin, the Medivh is gone, banned. So we're not going to see the kidnap, but Stitch is still going to be able to use those fishing hooks to provide a lot of that disposition. Oh, it's Ki Mei. Really? Okay, Ki Mei. Or Ki Mei. Interesting. All right, Ki Mei. From the side of Arrogant Nephalem. Man, we need like phonetics underneath players' names. Like that's why I made mine super simple, because some people have some just really phonetically interesting names. But it's going to be the Maev, excuse me, Keltos combo coming out from the side of Randy Newman here. Have a lot of good pick potential again. Have Keltos to provide that burst, but oh my gosh, we got a Bloodlust Rhaegar coming in with a Sylvanas here, so a lot of front to back, which is interesting with the Stitches, because Stitches wants to bring the team in, and everybody else wants to run at them. Tychus not necessarily the best at being able to run at the team, so maybe it's going to be an Ancestral Rhaegar. I don't want to necessarily say it's a Bloodlust Rhaegar, but because they're kind of like split on the way they're gonna approach this. They got like the pick potential, but they also got the I want to run at them with the Sylvanas and the Sonya with the Bloodlust. So we'll see how Rhaegar decides to play that one out. I anticipate it to be Bloodlust. I'm not going to call it quite there, but it's going to be the Kira picked up. So a huge just pivot here coming from the Randy Newmans. 4 new champions. Going to stick with the Johanna as the main tank here. But Kira going to have a pretty good matchup in that off lane. Doesn't necessarily double soak as well as the Sonya, but can clear camps pretty quickly and has a lot of good engage potential on those squishy targets. So I like the kind of isolate, pick them up, pull them back, and then use Kira and Keltos to just blow them up composition with the Maev. And they have the Johanna there for the Condemn if they need it to set up like a Warden's Cage and such. So we'll see how these two teams, again, it comes down to execution. But I like the spice that we're getting out of these two teams here in game number 2. But let's get these teams introduced. On the blue side, let's hope I get it better this time. We got Randy Newman on the Anduin, Wandy Wooman on the Keltos, Nandy Ruman on the Kira, Randy Newman on the Maev, and Tuna Breath on the Johanna. I think I did that right. Meanwhile, on the red side, we've got Ki Mei on the Sylvanas, Sagati on the Tychus, Antaeus on the Stitches, Saris on the Rhaegar, and in the mid lane we got Null Pointer. That one's easy. On the Sonya, and we got a little bit of cheese coming in, going for the bottom turret here, using the Sylvanas to see if she can get this early tower. Nobody on the side of Randy Newman is quite in the vicinity, and so this will be a tower picked up by the side of Arrogant Nephalem. Gonna back themselves off. Johanna actually getting hooked in. So that's going to be an early tower picked up by the side of the Arrogant Nephalem. And I really want to see how this off-lane matchup goes, because I'm really, really interested to see how these two teams play it out. Giggleshmack coming in with the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome. I think it's back to the channel. I think you've been here before. I thought you would have been already on here. But if not, welcome back to the channel. We got an isolation picked out by Sonya. She gets a little bit of a heal from the Rhaegar. Can she get away? She does, but Randy Newman in deep. Anduin sitting right under that tower, takes a few tower shots and falls himself. So it is a 1-for-1 trade, but first blood did go over to the side of Randy Newman. Big hook coming in from the Stitches. Randy Newman had no way to escape on the Maiev. And that is going to be a second kill picked up by the Arrogant Nephalem. Stitches showing why he is so dangerous with that fishing hook. Gonna get that kill and bring his team to experience lead yet again. Kael'thas trying to get as many globes as he can, sitting on 3. Johanna wanting those as well. 3 apiece so far. So I expect to see this Kael'thas Johanna just rotate everywhere. And we did see the gank going down, or heard the gank going down in the top lane. Kime coming up and getting a nice play on the Sylvanas. Able to get the Kira. So we're going to see this Maiev probably rotate up into the top lane to make sure none of that experience goes to waste. Stitches pulling her back. So we may lose a couple globes in the top lane by the Newmans. But Kira on her way back to get the rest of them. They'll just be small globes, not big globes. The rest of the 3 men in this bot lane. A big hook coming in on the Kael'thas. Nobody there to follow it up, so Stitches just flexing some muscles there. Goes back to clearing the minions, and we got a rotation onto the Tychus. Condemn does land. Can the Gravity Lapse land as well? Segai Tai is caught here, but the Gravity Lapse doesn't land, but the damage does. I don't believe the Rhaegar will get the heal off, and so that is a kill going down for the Newmans. Getting that second kill and trying to close up this experience gap here. And now we see the Newmans going ahead and going over and picking up their bruiser cam. This is something they did well in game number 1. They were very good at picking up their camps, always seemed to be ahead on the camp rotations. Doing it again here in game number 2. We'll see if they can use that advantage to continue to get the macro pressure that they're looking for. Kira trying to clear out some of these minions in the top lane. Neither team really in the vicinity to start off this Arcane Punisher. Kira committing to looking like staying in the top lane, gonna try and get the top lane pushing in her team's favor. Now thinking maybe she'll back off. Sonya is gonna stay in that top lane as well. So it's gonna be a little bit of a brawl between the 2 offlaners. So it's gonna be a 4-on-4 down here. Johanna coming in, Maiev all the way in, gets the 3-man tether. The Gravity Lapse lands onto the Sylvanas, and that is going to be Sylvanas going down. Kira has committed down here, so they need to go find something else or just commit to fully burning. It's 21-8 so far, but Sonya is gonna get pressure in this top lane with the bruiser camp. So it looks like the Arrogant Nephalem, they're comfortable giving this up. The 5-man is down here for the Newmans. They're going to get this Arcane Punisher by the looks of it. Kira now rotates herself away, and that was actually a really big grenade by Tychus. Keeps this pretty even here. Sylvanas is on her way back, so we'll see if Tychus can get another big grenade. We got a hook coming in onto Randy Newman there. The tether coming in, again, a 3-man tether, but only being able to pull 2 back. Anduin does go down. It is 32-28. 35, Kael'thas trying to get the last few globes for his team. The hook does miss. Kael'thas needs one more Flame Strike, trying to get back in for it. The Condemn goes down. It's at 37-33. Maiev getting in there. A 2-man pickup with the punish. Can Maiev find it? No, it's 39. Oh, they did get it. Who got it? I don't know, but the Newmans ended up picking it up. I think it was 39-39. Came down to the last sneeze. Somebody, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the coming back from the Shadow Stalk that from that Maiev that ended up picking up. I have no idea, but it ended up going over to the Newmans, which relieves a lot of pressure, because if that had gone over to the Nephalem, they were going to have a big siege in that bot lane with all those deaths. But it's 3-6 in kills so far. Kira was able to stop that push in the top lane. And so now we will wait for the 10s to come online, and the Newmans will then try to fight over that second one. But Stitches isn't ready for that. He wants to go now. Gravity Lapse does land, has a lot of sustain. The root land from the Anduin, the tether pulling Stitches back. Here's the sustain. It's just insane coming from this Stitches. That rhymed, and I didn't mean it to. And that is going to be pretty much everybody going back to normal. This was a camp pickup by the side of Arrogant Nephalem in the bot lane. Pretty good pickup there. And now the 10s are online. We got lead coming in from the Sonya, Odin coming in from the Tychus as seen by that giant abomination. We got the Black Arrow coming in, or the Wailing Arrow by the Sylvanas. It is going to be the Bloodlust by the Rhaegar, and it is the Putrid Bile, which makes more sense since they are going the Bloodlust. So Stitches gonna look to run at them and slow everybody down, allowing everybody else to just run at them rather than going the Gorge and trying to pull a member back. But here comes the 10s from the Newmans. We already see the Falling Sword coming in. The Stitches and the Bloodlust are now a big Wailing Arrow from the Sylvanas that are 4-man by Kime, and that is a huge, huge pickup. Kira going in, trying to get the damage, but doesn't get it quite down, and that is a 5-man team wipe. Sonya didn't even join the party. Huge play coming in from Arrogant Nephalem, and it all started with that 4-man Wailing Arrow from the Sylvanas. I mean, how about that? I mean, nobody on the side of Randy Newman could push any buttons for what, 1.5 seconds? 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. They were unable to do anything but run. So a huge, huge arrow coming in from the Sylvanas there.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
And that is going to be the reward in the top lane as well. Sonya going to pick up that fort in the top lane. And it is now 12-10 as far as experience, about a level and a half in favor of Arrogant Nephalem. The Newmans looking to find their 13s and then pick a fight around the second shrine. Got to get the soak though. It'll be close. They should get to 12 for sure. Probably a good little ways into 12. Probably won't have 13s when the shrine spawns, but should be able to soak it up before the shrine is finished. Maybe not. Shrine's spawning here in 26 seconds. And we see the Nephalem actually looking for the invade. The camp has already been picked up here. The hook does land onto the Anduin, and there goes the Putrid Bile. Anduin throwing the light bomb on himself. Only stuns, but that was a big falling sword by Johanna to try and delay. Unfortunately, Anduin was pretty much dead by the time it landed. Kael'thas, oh my gosh, he got just, I believe his cloak was still hanging out on the other side of the wall, but he got his body in. Cloak doesn't count. It's not football rules, it's not part of the jersey, and so Stitches not able to land the hook there. Kira continued to try and get this soak here in the bot lane. They got to wait for Anduin to get back up. They have the Pyroblast available from the Kael'thas. Looking at some of these other ultimates, we got the Containment Disc from the Maiev. We've got the Unrelenting Strikes from the Kira as seen. So it looks like it's going to be just put the Containment Disc. I'm curious who they're going to put it on. They're going to put it on Stitches and try and push past because you're running into a Bloodlust team. Or are they going to try and see if Maiev can get in there and catch the Rhaegar before he's able to pop the Bloodlust? And then fight the rest of the team. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they play this. But I do like how they're going around picking up these camps, trying to get the experience, get on to even 13 talent tiers before they really commit to defense here, especially with the Sylvanas already using the passive. Just give up this mid fort, defend the keep. Make sure you don't get hooked by the Stitches here. And then look to fight on even talent tiers. Jonna just easily popping it over with the Iron Skin, using the Blinding Flare to draw aggro. Actually getting the spin. Does go in all the way, trying to get the ultimate to pop down. Catches the Sylvanas. The leap is not able to land. The Pyroblast is going to go down. The Sylvanas is going to fall to that Pyroblast. This is going to be a pickup. And actually Sonya getting fairly low as well, so they're just pushing past this Immortal. Stitches is in the backline, sitting very healthy with that insane healing. So that is going to be 1-for-1 pickup so far. Tychus just got out of the Odin, so there could be a defense coming in here. Kael'thas has to get healed up. Is able to clear out these minions. No problem at all. Oh no! A big flip by the Maiev, but it leaves Johanna to get hooked. And Johanna did not have the Iron Skin available, so she does go down. Maev's like, I'll give you a beer later, I'm so sorry. Oh, Anduin getting hooked here as well, and Stitches coming in huge for the Arrogant Nephalem. A 2-man gravity lap, so the gauge is on. It's going to be one traded away, maybe a second one. A big stun by the Kira. Stitches can't heal through all that. Maybe he can, I don't know. That was insane, but Stitches does go down. So maybe biting off a little more than they could chew. Still, you love to see the aggression coming out, and so it is going to ultimately be just that 3-for-3 trade. 16s are online for the side of Arrogant Nephalem. The Newmans looking to potentially press their advantage here in the bot lane. Down 16s, maybe looking to see if they can find another pick with this Kira Maev. They're going to go in. Sylvanas does have a lot of burst damage. The Falling Sword coming down as well, really committing to this Tychus here. He's going down. The ultimate is popped by Nandi, so they do get the kill. So it is a big pickup. A lot of resources spent, but ultimately getting the reward. The Tychus kill was what they wanted. And now they just need to back up, use that stagger, get these ultimates. They are low cooldown ultimates. Actually, they're going to commit to a siege here. Still down 16. Stitches is here. Not going to go stop the minion wave in the mid lane. Maybe thinking better of it, trying to decide which way they want to play this, and now mounting up. Going to go back to the mid lane and clear it out. The smarter play in the end. They got the delay, got to the 16s, and really, you know, for how far they were down, they're slowly chipping away at this experience lead. Only about a level down now, maybe just a little bit less. And look at this, camp's online again, and the Newmans are hunting for it. I wonder if they're, I gotta look. Are they ahead in mercenary camps? Nope, they are behind in mercenary camp pickups, but just so slightly. It felt like they've still been doing very good at getting their camp pickups. Definitely had the advantage in the early game. Gonna go pick up this bruiser. Maybe when they pick up this bruiser, it'll be closer. But Stitch is looking like he wants to get another fishing hook. Going in, looks for the Kael'thas, doesn't connect, finds a minion instead. That's not what I wanted. And this is actually pretty good positioning for the Newmans here. Actually, I really like this play. Get this bruiser, get this lane pushed out. You have the pressure in the top lane. You're on 16, so you can send the 5-man to this fort and either force the side of Arrogant Nephalem to back. They didn't clear this out, though. I would like to see them clear that. That is the one thing I think they should have done before they came over here. But ultimately that may die. The Falling Sword Light Bomb combo doesn't quite connect. And so they back it up. Odin is popped early by the Tychus, so he's not going to have the shred on the Johanna. The sleep goes in big. Bloodlust thrown down. Randy Newman on the Anduin and very deep. The containment is thrown down on the Sylvanas. Sonya going to trade her life away. Maybe. Yes, she goes down, but a two-man silence coming in from Kime. Continuing to just press forward. Here's the Bloodlust showing absolute terror. Actually, a big stun coming in from Kira. Doesn't able to get the heal off, though. And so that is going to be a 5-for-1 pickup in favor of Arrogant Nephalem. They have the Punisher pushing in. The minions have already pushed out, and this is going to be a huge, huge play. The minions are pushing in the top lane, however, so this will continue. Oh, no. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. Towers did draw aggro on the siege minion, so that siege minion will fall. So that's going to stop any push going on in the top lane. So the Newman's going to have to defend under their own core. It is going to be a potential 5v4 defense. Sonya going to have to run all the way across the map. So if they can throw the containment disc on the Stitches, they have free reign to the back line. So that is looking like it may be the play, but they got to pull it quick once everybody gets up. The containment disc has to be thrown down almost immediately, and they have to push past onto the back line. If go in, my Dev is looking for the fight, gets herself in. The Punisher is on the keep aggro as well. Sylvanas getting in deep. The containment is thrown down on the Tychus instead. They need to kill the Sylvanas, unable to, and this Punisher is going to make sure that this core goes down. GG's coming out. Nephalem getting a 2-0 domination victory in Division B West. And just like that, the Nephalem off to a very, very hot start in their Season 12 ambitious drive here coming in. 3-0 so far on the season. All 3 wins being dominations. And moving themselves up pretty high in the standings. I believe that takes them all the way up to a tied for first. So making some noise here in Division B, the Arrogant Nephalem. Going to be somebody that's going to be tough to deal with for all these other teams. Playing that Kidnap comp very, very well. Taking the Stitches in yet again. Everybody be on your guard. Stitches and Teus doing a very good job. Kime playing the Medivh very well, landing some huge, huge arrows on the Sylvanas. Not as high damage numbers coming out in this second game, but when that damage hit, it stuck on both sides. And the Newmans definitely showing a lot more gusto in this game number 2, playing it much, much closer in that second half, playing the first half just as close as they did the last time. Ultimately, they did get the one Punisher. They got the first Punisher ever so. I mean, it was like a 39 to a 39 coin flip. Ended up getting it. And I already got Kime sitting in lobby 2, so I'm just going to go ahead and join him. Hello. How are you guys doing?
We're happy.
We're happy. You sound so happy right now.
It's late, so this is my happy but tired voice.
This is my happy, but I want to go to bed, so make this interview short voice. All right. Loud and clear. Heard you there. So congratulations on your 2-0 domination victory and a 3-0 start to the arrogant Nephalem. How are you guys feeling right now?
Great. So one of the 3-0s is a forfeit, so that one doesn't really count. We had a team withdraw from Div B.
True.
That one doesn't count. But,
3-0 with a little
yeah.
asterisk next to it.
Yes.
There we go.
No, yeah, we're really excited. Usually the start of our season is less exciting, where we lose, and then our previous captain will be like, "It's okay, they were a really tough team," and then the next week the same thing happens.
So instead of starting off losing, we just start off winning, and then there is no second step. It's just keep winning, right?
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't think of that the first time.
It took 12 seasons, but we're there. We're there. So we are now on the winning train, and going all the way up to the top with that 9 points, 3 dominations, looking very good. Coming out in game 1, so the Newmans took us to Battlefield of Eternity. Was it looking at, okay, I mean, I got to work on my name pronunciations for half of your guys' team, but is it Antaeus?
Antaeus.
I put an extra syllable in there. Antaeus on the stitches. I mean, showing a lot of comfort on that champion. Were we always going to go the Medivh kidnap comp on top of it? Or was that just a kind of, hey, that we have it available. They're going this big dive composition. So Medivh kind of hits 2 birds with 1 stones here.
But it wasn't a requirement. As you could see in game 2, we had the chance to pick Medivh with stitches, and we're not locked into that.
Right.
But when you get it and when it works, it just feels really nice in a sort of mean way.
Yeah, I mean, brutal way with the Stukov silence sitting there waiting once the stitches decides to spit him out. But I was curious if the Medivh play was more, we're like, yeah, let's just run the kidnap comp with Medivh, or if it was more like, hey, they've got this double support gray main dive composition, so they really want to just blow up one target. Medivh's got this really cool button that I press where that target just doesn't take any damage. And oh, by the way, then we can also run the kidnap comp.
So it was much more focused on the kidnap comp,
okay.
Mostly because my team doesn't trust me to put a shield on. Which
Fair
is
enough.
not an unfair assessment.
I mean, whatever. But it was definitely the kidnap comp, and I mean, didn't happen, pre-10 because, you're missing half of the buttons that you need. But post-10, definitely saw it shining, able to grab a couple. Was it always like, we're just going to kidnap whatever target we get? Because there's a couple Johanna kidnaps as well. It didn't seem to work out as well. But the Sonya ones seemed to work out very well, actually, considering she had leap.
Yes, it was 100% of if Antaeus saw someone he was hooking. That's who we were going for.
Okay. So
it would have perhaps been a better strategy to be more picky on the hooks, but we just went for it.
Yeah, just, hey, I got someone in my belly. Everybody jump in when he comes out, kind of deal, and the focus was real. So, looking at that first Immortal went over to the side of Randy Newman, kind of a little bit of a hiccup, but then from there on, seemed to be that every Immortal went arrogant Nephilim's way, and that the pedal went to the metal kind of deal. So just talk us through how you kind of got over those early game jitters, so to speak, and then eventually just walked your way to I think it was like 17-4 in kills at the end of that.
Yeah, so part of it is what you mentioned earlier, which is that we've got this nice little kidnap comp, but until 10, you can't kidnap anyone. So before that, and before the Medivh quests are finished, that kind of neuters my damage a lot too. There's always going to be a limitation to how much you're able to do. So we would have certainly liked to have gotten that first Immortal, but it didn't happen, and that didn't bring us down too much.
Sure.
In a way, we were almost expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, post that, then, rely on the hooks and the gorge and such. And that way, with the Stukov silence and the damage on it, we're pretty confident that we can start every fight, hopefully, up a little bit. Even if they escape, we put a lot of damage on them, right?
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, that's the thing with the stitches. Like, you're playing around, he may not land every hook, but he only needs to land like 30% of them. And if they're on the right targets, that's going to be pretty effective in and of itself. Being able to bring it back, into an entirely different zip code and then kill it over there and then, go back to your regular scheduled program.
yep, exactly.
So, game number 2, did you expect them to take map pick again? And you guys get to first pick again? And, were you expecting a kind of go to Infernal Shrines, the classic HOTS map, or were you kind of prepping for something different in the in between?
So I was not expecting that pick for either of those two choices.
Okay.
I'm not the best at hot strategy to begin with, but just for the fact that like 95% of teams in Div B will always go for hero pick,
Hmm.
so it always surprises me when people don't. Um, so yeah, no, I was not expecting that at all personally.
Sure.
Um, but at the very least, we don't have a very strong opinion on Infernal Shrines. But like you said, it's kind of the NGS map, so it wasn't unfamiliar to us at least, which is nice.
Sure. Yeah. And so getting in there, curious. I mean, you run the stitches again. I was curious. I was like, talking in the pregame draft, I was wondering if Stitches was going to make a reappearance. Not as strong on Infernal Shrines. We could see, in some of those bigger fights, just difficulty getting into position and hooking through like the massive horde of minions around the objective, but still pulling it pretty effectively once we got outside of those minion waves. Um, the only question mark I had, have the team practiced a lot of Bloodlust Rhaegar with Tychus? Is that a thing that, or I was curious when the Rhaegar was picked. I was like, man, we've got like the Sylvanas and the Sonya that like want to go, but then we've got the Tychus Stitches that are like, wait, we want to come back and just kill them back in our area, so Tychus can stand right next to Stitches and get a full minute you got to unload. So I was curious which way Rhaegar was going to go with that.
I think Ceres uh, had a plan and executed it without too much of letting us know beforehand,
Okay.
but it worked.
Yeah. He had something in his head, and he's like, "Guys, trust me, I got this. I'm gonna show you something. Just run with it."
Yes, we have learned to trust Ceres because Ceres doesn't let us down.
I,
So
I love that.
Bloodlust is certainly not what I would have expected,
Yeah.
but you know what? He made it work,
I mean,
right?
I
So
with like the Sonya Sylvanas, I'm like, I definitely want to see the Bloodlust. Like they both are like, yes, I love Bloodlust. Whereas the Tychus, the Stitches are like, no, I want ancestral healing kind of deal. So it's like this
mhm.
50-50 split, and I'm curious which way Rhaegar is going to play it. But Saris showing us the way that he wants to play it, and playing it pretty effectively, getting a lot of good value actually out of the Bloodlust in some of those objective fights there. Um, but again, it's kind of the story. Map number 2 went the same way map number 1. First Immortal. I mean, I think it was 39-39. I don't know how close it ultimately was, but it was super close. Ended up going over to the Newmans. But from that point on, the Mortals and the map pressure just to continue to build in, arrogant Nephilim's favor. So, how did you guys play that second half of the game and ultimately come away with the win there?
Yeah, so the first one actually, we had a little bit of strategy actually on that one, which is where we got a little bit behind, or I don't remember exactly what happened. Or Kira rotated down first before our offlaner
Hmm.
Sonya, and so Noel was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay up here because I think I can do more damage up here alone than the first Punisher is going to do.
Okay,
So try to get the Punisher, but regardless, this is what I think is the best way forward.
sure.
So we lost it, but it almost kind of we had that as a sort of backup plan, which he got a bunch of damage up top, so I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it was super duper close in that bot
Yeah,
lane.
not,
Like,
yeah, yeah. It was. I don't remember how many we got. At least 34, 35,
I
maybe
want to
more than
say, I mean, I'll have to go back and look. I want to say it was like 39-38 or 39-39. Like, it was super close. Tychus landed like a 6-man grenade that all of a sudden like popped you guys all the way up in numbers. I was like, okay, the Newmans have this. Wait a minute, Tychus just landed a huge grenade. Maybe they don't. And it was like, I don't know how that last minion got picked up, but it was fun. I gotta go watch that in like ultra slow motion. But anyway, the Nephilim end up coming away with the victory here. Congratulations on that. Before I let you go, 2 more questions. First, who do you think your series MVP was for this match?
Oh goodness. I guess I would probably give it to NTS for the hooks.
Antares, the stitches hooks extraordinaire. I mean, I said 33%. He hit a lot more than 33%. It had to be up in the 60-70% range for sure. But coming in,
Yeah.
flexing on the stitches, love to see it. And then,
Well,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
no, yeah, yeah. It's basically just great. Yeah, like your stitches can be a very useless hero if they can't do the hooks and body block and things like that. But Antaeus definitely knows how to do it. So
And showing a lot of comfort again on the champion, pulling out both ultimates in both games, adapting the champion to the team composition, and doing it effectively in either game. So you love to see a person be able to do that on a champion. It just makes the rest of the team feel all good inside.
right.
But last things last, I'm going to open it up for you. Any shout outs you'd like to give? The floor is yours.
So first and one of the most important ones. Thank you very much for casting the game. We love having our games cast. So
Absolutely.
thank you. Yep. And then shout out to our opponents tonight, Randy Newman, because it was a good match. It's 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 fun playing against them. These were fun series. So looking forward, hoping to maybe play against them sometime in the future. And then shout out to NGS for doing this whole thing, all the volunteers that make it happen. We have our subs, and yeah, I
Ah,
think that's it. That's late. I'm probably forgetting people, but
we'll forgive you this one time. It's late. We all understand. But and I learned somebody corrected me. I learned how to say your name. It's Kime.
that is how I pronounce it.
Okay.
You are welcome to do whatever you like.
Well, I kept calling you Kime, and then somebody said it's pronounced Kime, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna forget it. And so, that's the one thing. Once I figure out how to say it, I'm like, all right, I got this. Kind of deal. And so that is exactly what I wanted to hear. Congratulations again on your 2-0 domination victory and a great 3-0 start to your season. Looking forward to things coming ahead for Arrogant Nephalem here down the road.
Thank you very much, and thanks again.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Bye bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Key May coming in, the Medivh and Sylvanas extraordinaire from the side of Arrogant Nephilim. And my oh my, that was a great series to be able to watch. Thank you all so much for the follows. Had quite a bit of follows coming in here and some bits cheered as well. So thank you all so much for the support. Love all the support that we get on this channel. It's always appreciated. For those coming in who don't know, I do a lot of casting. Didn't get a lot in last week. Had a lot of other things between my NGS match and then we had XGGI finals. Had family in town, so I only think I casted like 2 games last week. But this week got one in today. Tomorrow looks like I may end up being able to cast the Storm Division matchup. There's going to be a Storm Division, so that'll be over on the NGS channel, main channel. Hopefully, it'll either be myself or if somebody can pick it up last minute because I don't know 100% if I'll be able to do it. But it'll be Heavy Impact against Anti-Clown Association going up in their Week 3 head-to-head over tomorrow night starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. On Wednesday, I don't cast, unfortunately, because I don't get home till late. Sometimes I do late night replay casts on Wednesday, so I may get 1 or 2 of those in. So you can hop in over to the channel, see some replay casts of teams that didn't get their matches. Oh, wow. We got Antaeus coming in. Antaeus coming in with the subscription, with the Prime. Thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it. And congratulations again on your victory. Well done indeed. Thursday, I have my own team practice, so I will not be casting on Thursday. But then Friday, we have another matchup on Friday, and it's going to be another Storm Division matchup. Getting a lot of Storm Divisions in this week for some reason, and that will be on Friday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be GG Till I Die going up against Error 404. Will be quite a fun matchup there on the Nexus Gaming Series main channel as well. And then Saturday, I'm going to pick up what I can and try to get a couple more replay casts in here. So there's going to be a couple of replay casts, a couple more live casts. If I don't end up doing the Storm Division tomorrow night, I will pick up a different cast tomorrow night. Just hopefully it starts a little bit later. But for me, that is it for the week upcoming. And then, we got weeks 4 and on, but I'm super excited to be back casting NGS this season. It's been a long, long break between the 2 seasons. And so thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you here next time for more NGS action. Have a wonderful night, everyone.